You don't need to announce your greatness. Your gift will do that for you. The problem is, too many people are busy promoting themselves instead of developing what God placed inside them. Your gift is the divine seed of your purpose, and when you nurture it in silence, it will speak louder than any words ever could. The stage you've been praying for doesn't come from noise. It comes from mastery. Hidden preparation builds public power. Most people want the stage before they are ready for it. But what they do not realize is that every public victory is born from a private battle. Every visible success is rooted in invisible discipline. The moments when no one is watching, when you are tired, overlooked, and unnoticed, those are the very moments that shape your strength. The unseen hours are the foundation of the destiny you are asking for. When you understand that your hidden preparation is not wasted time, but divine training, you stop complaining about where you are and start working on who you are becoming. When a seed is planted in the ground, it disappears from sight. You can't see it growing, but something powerful is happening beneath the soil. It breaks its roots, it expands in the dark, and one day, it bursts through the surface for the world to see. That's how your purpose works. You have to go underground first. You have to be buried before you can blossom. Most people want to be seen before they've been shaped, but anything exposed too early will die under pressure. God hides you to prepare you. He buries you to build your roots deep enough to carry the weight of your calling. The delay is not denial, it's development. There's a reason why great men and women of destiny always have a season of silence. Look at every story of transformation, every person who changed the world. There was always a hidden period of molding, of testing, of learning what the public will never know. The process is private because the product will be public. You can't have authority without anonymity first. You can't lead people until you've learned to follow instruction. You can't command attention until you've mastered obedience. That's the divine order. Preparation before presentation. When you're hidden, you learn what matters. You learn to depend on vision instead of validation. You learn to value growth over glory. You learn to trust God when the applause is silent. The hidden season teaches humility because you discover that it's not your name that makes you powerful. It's your preparation. When you work in the shadows, you become dangerous in the light. The power that people admire in public is the result of what you did when no one cared. You become stronger in your quiet seasons, not weaker. The silence trains your soul to focus, to listen, to align. People are always looking for shortcuts to greatness. They want the reward without the refining. They want recognition without responsibility. But shortcuts create shallow roots. And shallow roots can't survive storms. The reason some people fall after rising quickly is that they never built a foundation deep enough to hold the height they reach. God, in His wisdom, lets you stay hidden so He can deepen your character before He expands your influence. What's the point of being known if you can't stay standing? What's the point of being visible if you have no substance? Hidden preparation gives you stability. Every hour you spend practicing when nobody's applauding, every failure you analyze quietly, every late night spent perfecting your craft, every prayer whispered in secret, it's all power accumulating within you. People will only see the explosion, but they will never understand the hours of pressure that caused it. The world will call it overnight success, but you'll know it took years of unseen work. That's why you must never despise small beginnings. Every giant begins as a seed. Every breakthrough starts as a hidden effort that nobody claps for. The challenge is that hidden seasons often feel unfair. You see others being promoted while you are still being prepared. You see others celebrated for doing less while your excellence goes unnoticed. But the truth is, being hidden protects you from premature exposure. It gives you space to fail quietly, to learn without reputation, to be corrected without consequence. Public exposure before private growth is dangerous. The same light that reveals you can also destroy you if you're not ready for it. The hidden place is God's mercy. It's where He shields you until you are mature enough to handle success. When you are hidden, don't waste time wishing for recognition. Use that time to sharpen your gift. Study more, practice more, pray deeper, think bigger. Don't wait to be discovered. Prepare to be undeniable. You can't control when your opportunity comes, but you can control how ready you'll be when it arrives. The moment your preparation meets opportunity, you won't need to announce yourself. Your results will. Power is not found in being seen, it's found in being seasoned. Look at the pattern of creation itself. Before light was revealed, there was darkness. Before man was formed, the earth was formless. Before Jesus began His public ministry, He spent 30 years in obscurity, learning, growing, and obeying. Before David became king, he was a shepherd fighting lions and bears that nobody saw. Before Joseph ruled Egypt, he endured years in prison and slavery. These were not wasted years, they were shaping years. God uses hidden seasons to build the muscle of endurance, the wisdom of experience, and the humility of dependence. Without those private lessons, the public assignment would have crushed them. There's a unique kind of confidence that comes from private victories. When you conquer in secret, you don't need to prove anything in public. You move with quiet authority because you know who you are and what you've survived. Hidden preparation builds that kind of unshakable confidence. It's the calm assurance that you don't have to announce your greatness because you've already earned it in silence. The world sees the shine, but heaven sees the sweat. It's easy to lose motivation when your effort isn't recognized. You may feel invisible, but invisibility is often the best place to grow. You're not being ignored, you're being incubated. Just as a baby develops in the womb before it takes its first breath, your destiny is developing in the dark before it takes its first step. The darkness is where potential becomes power. If you try to rush the process, you'll end up with something undeveloped. True greatness takes time. Time to mature, time to fail, time to learn, time to grow. In your hidden season, the key is consistency. Keep showing up even when no one sees. Keep giving your best even when there's no reward. Keep refining your gift even when it feels like nothing is happening. That kind of faithfulness builds inner power, the kind that can't be shaken when the spotlight finally hits you. When you are consistent in private, you will be competent in public. When you are faithful in the small, you will be trusted with the great. Hidden preparation is also where God tests your motives. Why are you doing what you do? Is it for applause or assignment? Is it for fame or fulfillment? In the hidden place, you can't rely on external validation, so your motives are purified. You begin to work for purpose, not praise. You learn to serve without recognition, to give without credit, to build without attention. That kind of purity attracts divine favor because God can trust a heart that isn't driven by vanity. The hidden process also teaches patience. We live in a world of instant gratification, but divine timing is different from human timing. You may think you're ready, but God knows when the world is ready for you. Sometimes He delays your visibility to align your opportunity with your maturity. If He promoted you too soon, your gift might open doors that your character can't keep open. Preparation is the protection of destiny. It ensures that when you arrive, you can stay there. Think of a diamond. Before it shines, it's just a piece of carbon buried deep in the earth. Under intense pressure and heat, no one sees the process, they only admire the result. But without the crushing, there is no clarity. Without the pressure, there is no brilliance. That's what hidden preparation does. It refines you under pressure until what's within you can handle the weight of glory that's coming. Every trial, every rejection, every closed door, every lonely night, they are all part of your shaping. There's a deep wisdom in working while you're unseen. It trains you to find fulfillment in progress, not in praise. It shifts your focus from "who's watching me" to "am I growing?" That mindset produces champions. When you learn to build without being noticed, you become unstoppable when you finally are noticed. Because then, you're not performing for approval, you're operating from purpose. Hidden preparation also builds resilience. It toughens your spirit. When you've survived being overlooked, you develop the strength to stand tall when pressure comes. You learn how to handle criticism, delay, and disappointment without losing direction. Those lessons are priceless, and they can only be learned in the dark. Public exposure is easy. Private endurance is what separates the strong from the weak. Don't despise your hidden place. That's your workshop, your training ground, your classroom of destiny. Every master was once a student. Every leader was once a learner. Every success story began in silence. When you are hidden, God is investing in your future. He's putting weight on your shoulders, depth in your spirit, wisdom in your mind, and excellence in your work. What you build in silence will one day speak so loudly that the world will have to listen. Hidden preparation builds public power. Your gift doesn't need permission, it needs activation. So many people are waiting for someone to recognize them, approve them, or open a door for them, when the truth is everything they need is already inside them. You were born with purpose wrapped inside a gift. That gift is not man-made, so it doesn't require man's permission to function. The moment you begin to use it, develop it, and trust it, doors begin to open on their own. The tragedy of life is not dying young, it's living long and never discovering what you were designed to do. The graveyard is full of unactivated gifts, talents that were never used, ideas that were never shared, and dreams that were never pursued because people waited for validation that was never coming. Your gift is your divine assignment, the unique piece of creation God placed in you to make a difference in the world. You don't have to chase opportunity, you have to cultivate ability. The right opportunity will always find the right level of preparation. When you understand that your gift carries its own authority, you stop begging for attention. You realize that no one can disqualify what they didn't create. You stop trying to convince others to believe in you because you already believe in what God placed within you. The gift doesn't need permission to operate, it just needs faith to activate it. Activation happens when you decide to stop waiting and start working. It's not a feeling, it's a decision. You may not feel ready, but readiness is built through movement. The act of using your gift is what sharpens it. Think of a musician. Their instrument doesn't become valuable sitting in a case. It becomes valuable when played, practiced, and refined. Your gift is the same. You can't protect it by hiding it. You strengthen it by using it. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you are activating what's within you. Every time you speak, create, serve, build, or teach, you're unlocking another level of your divine potential. Waiting for permission keeps you trapped in fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of failure. But the truth is, the people you're waiting on are often too busy dealing with their own insecurities to see the greatness in you. If you wait for others to recognize your worth, you'll be waiting your entire life. Some people won't understand your gift because it wasn't given to them. Others may even feel threatened by it because it reminds them of what they've ignored in themselves. You can't depend on their validation to fulfill your vision. When God gave you the gift, He also gave you the authority to use it. There is a difference between talent and a gift. Talent is natural ability, but a gift is divine enablement. Your gift is the thing that flows through you effortlessly. The thing that feels like breathing. It's not forced. It's a natural expression of who you are. But if you never activate it, it stays dormant. Potential without power. Dormant potential doesn't impact anyone. The world doesn't change because of what you could do. It changes when you decide to do it. Activation means taking what's invisible within you and making it visible through your actions. The reason so many people never walk in their purpose is because they are waiting for perfect conditions. They keep saying, when the time is right, or when I have enough money, or when someone gives me a chance. But the truth is, conditions will never be perfect. The right time is when you start. Faith is not waiting for everything to line up. Faith is moving when nothing makes sense yet. The moment you step out, you activate the supernatural assistance that's been waiting for your movement. Heaven only responds to action. If you don't move, nothing moves. When you activate your gift, you also attract alignment. The right people, the right opportunities, and the right resources begin to appear. Not because you chase them, but because your activated gift sends out a signal that draws what belongs to you. The gift creates room. It carves out space in environments that didn't exist before. People who ignore you now will one day need what you carry. That's why you must never underestimate what's inside you. The same gift that seems insignificant in your hands today could be the key to transforming your generation tomorrow. Your gift is your voice in the world. It's how you contribute to humanity. Some people are gifted to speak, others to lead, others to create, heal, organize, inspire, or build. Whatever your gift is, it's your responsibility to activate it. No one can do it for you. No one else can express it the way you can. You are not a copy of anyone else. You are an original masterpiece designed to solve a specific problem. If you don't activate your gift, that problem remains unsolved. Somewhere, someone's breakthrough is waiting on your obedience. Many people mistake humility for hesitation. They think playing small is spiritual, but it's not. There's nothing humble about burying what God gave you. Real humility is using your gift fully and acknowledging that the power comes from God. It's arrogance to hide your gift out of fear because it implies that God made a mistake when He gave it to you. He didn't. He equipped you perfectly for your assignment. When you activate your gift, you are honoring the giver. You are saying, I trust what you placed inside me. That's not pride, that's stewardship. Sometimes activation requires separation. Not everyone can understand the season you're stepping into. When you start to activate your gift, you may outgrow certain environments or relationships that were comfortable but unproductive. Some people are comfortable with you as long as you stay hidden. The moment you rise, their insecurities start to show. That's okay. Activation isn't about approval, it's about alignment. God will bring new people into your life who see your gift, celebrate it, and push you to develop it further. But that only happens after you take the first step. Your gift has a rhythm, a frequency, a flow. When you operate in it, you feel alive. When you ignore it, you feel frustrated and disconnected. That frustration isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that something inside you is being suppressed. The longer you ignore your gift, the heavier life feels because you're not functioning in your divine design. The car was made to move, the light was made to shine, and you were made to create, lead, love, and serve through your gift. Activation is what connects you to fulfillment. It's what turns existence into purpose. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards productivity. You may be gifted, but if you never activate it, no one will ever experience the power of it. Don't wait for an audience before you begin. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. The more you use your gift, the stronger it becomes. The more you activate it, the more confidence you gain. Confidence doesn't come from compliments, it comes from competence. And competence is built through consistent activation. Fear is the enemy of activation. It whispers, what if you fail? What if no one listens? What if you're not good enough? But what if you succeed? What if you inspire someone? What if your obedience changes a life? You'll never know until you try. Fear fades in the face of action. Every time you act despite fear, you silence doubt and strengthen faith. The goal isn't to feel fearless, it's to move anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to continue in spite of it. Activation also demands responsibility. Once you recognize your gift, you must develop it. You can't just rely on raw talent. Discipline refines your gift, study strengthens it, and consistency sustains it. If you don't work on it, it won't grow. People often pray for opportunities, but opportunities are attracted to preparation. If your gift is not developed, opportunity will pass you by. Work on your craft when no one's clapping. Train when no one's watching. Learn when no one's teaching you. Every bit of effort you invest in your gift is a seed for future elevation. Your gift is not limited by location, background, or education. Too many people disqualify themselves because of where they come from or what they don't have. But history proves that greatness often comes from unexpected places. It's not about where you start, it's about what you start doing. The moment you activate your gift, you begin to shift the atmosphere around you. People start to take notice not because you ask them to, but because excellence demands attention. When you operate in your gift, your presence becomes magnetic. There's a difference between waiting for opportunity and preparing for it. One is passive. The other is proactive. Activation is proactive faith. It's saying, I don't see the full picture, but I'll take the next step. You can't steer a parked car. Movement creates momentum, and momentum opens doors. The universe responds to movement, not hesitation. Every great achievement started with someone who refused to wait for permission. They saw something inside themselves that others didn't see yet, and they decided to act on it. That's how revolutions begin. That's how destinies unfold. If you look at the lives of impactful people, you'll see one thing in common. They didn't wait to be chosen. They chose themselves. They understood that the gift was their qualification. They activated it through courage, hard work, and faith. When you decide to activate your gift, you align yourself with that same principle. You stop living from the outside and reacting to people's opinions and start living from the inside out, responding to your inner calling. The enemy of your gift is not failure, it's comfort. Comfort convinces you to stay quiet, to play small, to settle. But nothing extraordinary grows in comfort. Growth requires stretching, stepping out, and sometimes starting over. Activation is uncomfortable because it pushes you beyond what you know. But it's in that discomfort that power is born. Every time you stretch, your capacity expands. Every time you step out, your gift evolves. The truth is, the world is waiting on you. There are songs unwritten, businesses unbuilt, books unpublished, solutions undiscovered, all locked inside people who never activated their gifts. Don't let that be your story. Don't let fear or doubt bury what was meant to bless others. When you activate your gift, you activate change. You ignite inspiration. You set an example of what faith looks like in motion. Your gift doesn't need permission, it needs activation. Silence is the sound of strength. In a world that equates noise with power, people often believe that the loudest voice is the most confident, the most successful, or the most influential. But real strength doesn't shout. It doesn't need to prove itself. True power moves quietly, purposefully, and with focus. Silence is not weakness, it is mastery. It is the mark of someone who no longer needs to defend their worth because their work, their character, and their results already speak on their behalf. Silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of control. When you reach a place of inner strength, you stop feeling the need to respond to every opinion, justify every action, or argue with every critic. You understand that energy is precious and not every battle deserves your attention. Strength isn't shown in how loud you can be. It's revealed in how calm you can remain when the world tries to shake you. There's a kind of authority that comes from stillness, the kind that intimidates. Confusion and silence is chaos. When you are at peace, you can think clearly. When you are silent, you can hear what others can't. People who haven't learned the value of silence often mistake movement for progress and talking for leadership. But wise people understand that silence is strategy. It's the space between reaction and response. It's the pause that protects you from saying what you'll later regret. It's the discipline that keeps your emotions from sabotaging your destiny. Anyone can make noise, it takes strength to be still. Silence gives you the power to observe without being distracted, to listen without interrupting, and to move without announcing. In moments of silence, you can hear your own thoughts again. You can sense direction that gets drowned out by the world's constant chatter. Most people are afraid of silence because it forces them to face themselves, their doubts, fears, insecurities, and unspoken pain. But those who embrace silence discover that it's not a void, it's a sanctuary. It's where clarity is born. It's where you separate what's urgent from what's important. In silence, you stop reacting to noise and start responding to purpose. That's why strong people value solitude, because they know silence doesn't isolate them, it strengthens them. Silence is also the language of wisdom. The more you grow, the less you need to say. The more you know, the less you have to prove. Immature minds need validation through visibility, but mature minds find peace in restraint. The wise understand that timing is everything, and silence keeps you in rhythm with divine timing. You don't have to reveal every plan or explain every move. Sometimes the power lies in keeping your next step hidden until it's too late for anyone to stop it. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Silence protects what's sacred. There's a profound strength in not reacting. When you can hold your peace while others lose theirs, you've already won. When you can keep calm while being misunderstood, you demonstrate mastery over ego. When you can stand still in the face of provocation, you prove that your emotions no longer control your destiny. That kind of control doesn't come easily, it's the result of discipline. It's a product of self-awareness and spiritual maturity. Silence is what trains you to choose wisdom over impulse. It's what separates leaders from followers, builders from talkers, and the focus from the distracted. In silence, you preserve your energy for creation, not confrontation. You don't waste words trying to convince people who have already made up their minds. You let your results do the talking. You understand that explanations won't change the minds of those committed to misunderstanding you. Instead of arguing, you keep producing. Instead of defending, you keep building. Silence shifts your energy from reaction to action. That's where power lives, not in noise, but in results. There's also a spiritual strength in silence. Throughout history, every great prophet, leader, or thinker had seasons of withdrawal, moments when they separated themselves from the noise of the crowd to hear from a higher place. You can't receive revelation in chaos. You can't get direction when you're drowning in distractions. Silence creates space for divine instruction. When you stop talking, you start hearing. When you stop moving, you start receiving. Strength is not found in constant activity, but in the ability to be still and know that something greater is guiding you. Silence also reveals confidence. Insecure people talk too much because they're trying to convince others and themselves that they are enough. Confident people don't need to announce their worth. They understand that real gold doesn't need to shout to prove its value. Its presence alone is proof of quality. When you are secure in who you are and what you carry, you don't need to seek validation through visibility. You can move in silence because you trust that your gift, your purpose, and your discipline will make the noise for you at the right time. Silence is often misunderstood as passivity, but it's not passive at all. It's active self-control. It's the deliberate choice to prioritize peace over ego. Sometimes silence is the loudest response you can give. It confuses your enemies, frustrates gossipers, and disarms those who expect you to react. Silence is strength under pressure. The kind that refuses to crumble when attacked. It's saying, I don't have to prove myself. My success will speak for me. That's why silence is powerful. It keeps you in control of your narrative while others lose theirs. The world celebrates those who can speak well, but true growth happens when you learn when not to speak. It takes maturity to hold your tongue when you could easily defend yourself. It takes wisdom to walk away when you could win the argument. It takes strength to stay calm when you could explode. Every time you choose silence over noise, you grow in discipline. You're not being weak, you're protecting your peace. You're choosing purpose over pride. You're allowing strength to speak in a language the world can't always hear, the language of restraint. Silence is also a tool for discernment. When you're quiet, you can see who people really are. You learn more by listening than by speaking. You begin to notice patterns, motives, and intentions that would otherwise be hidden by conversation. Silence sharpens your intuition. It helps you make better decisions because you're not acting out of impulse or emotion. You can't hear the whisper of wisdom in the middle of noise, but you can hear it in the calm. Strong people use silence as a weapon of awareness. They observe, process, and then act strategically. There's a reason predators in the wild move silently before they strike. Their strength lies in their patience. They don't waste energy on noise, they conserve it for precision. The same principle applies to life. When you are quiet, you conserve energy for what truly matters. You don't get drained by unnecessary arguments or pointless competition. You move with intention. You wait for the right moment, and when you act, you do so with impact. Silence helps you operate from wisdom, not emotion, and that's what gives you the advantage. The discipline of silence also teaches you to be comfortable with not being understood. When you stop explaining yourself, you free yourself. Not everyone will understand your process, your decisions, or your direction, and that's okay. You don't owe explanations to those who aren't walking your path. When you're silent, you stop trying to fit into people's expectations and start focusing on your own evolution. Silence protects your purpose from the opinions of the unqualified. It keeps you aligned with your mission while others waste time talking about theirs. Sometimes silence is protection. Not everyone around you wants to see you grow. The more you share, the more vulnerable your plans become. Silence keeps your vision safe while it's developing. It shields your dreams from premature criticism. Talking too soon can attract opposition you're not ready for. That's why the strongest people know when to speak and when to stay silent. They don't move in secrecy out of fear. They move in wisdom out of strategy. The less people know, the less they can interfere. Even in pain, silence is powerful. When you can suffer without broadcasting it, you build a level of emotional resilience that few people ever reach. You learn to process quietly, to heal privately, to pray deeply. Silence teaches you endurance. It helps you realize that you don't need sympathy to survive, you need strength to grow. When you carry your pain in silence, it transforms into wisdom. Every tear becomes a teacher. Every disappointment becomes a lesson. Silence gives you space to turn pain into purpose. In relationships, silence can also bring peace. Not every disagreement requires a response. Sometimes silence is the best way to de-escalate a situation. Arguments lose power when there's no fuel to feed them. Silence breaks cycles of conflict that words can't fix. It's an act of strength to walk away instead of lashing out, to listen instead of shouting back, to stay still instead of striking. Silence doesn't mean you've lost, it means you've mastered self-control. Silence also reveals who's truly paying attention. When you stop explaining yourself, those who genuinely care will still support you. Those who only listen for information will disappear. Silence filters your circle. It exposes the difference between those who are loyal to your presence and those who are only loyal to your noise. When you become quiet, you see who remains connected to your spirit rather than your spotlight. The power of silence extends beyond personal growth. It influences how others perceive you. People trust those who speak less but mean more. They listen when you finally speak because your silence has given your words weight. The quieter you are, the more intentional your voice becomes. Every word spoken from silence carries authority because it's backed by thought, patience, and discipline. That's why strong leaders don't talk constantly. They talk purposefully. They understand that silence gives value to speech. Silence also sharpens creativity. When you quiet the external world, you allow your internal world to expand. Ideas flow more freely when there's no noise competing for attention. The greatest innovators, thinkers, and visionaries all spent time in solitude. They withdrew from noise to hear inspiration whisper. Silence is the birthplace of creativity because it allows you to connect with the deepest parts of yourself. When you can be still long enough to hear your own mind, you unlock genius. There's an undeniable peace that comes from knowing you don't need to react to everything. You don't have to prove people wrong, time will. You don't have to defend your path, results will. You don't have to announce your growth, your fruit will reveal it. Silence gives you the strength to let patience handle what pride wants to fix. It allows you to trust the process instead of forcing it. The strongest people aren't those who always speak up. They're the ones who know when to stay quiet and let purpose unfold naturally. Silence is the sound of strength. The world doesn't need another echo. It needs an authentic voice. Let your gift be that voice. Keep working, keep believing, keep building in silence, because when your moment comes, you won't have to knock, the door will already be open.